and I'm here with Derek and Pat. Thank you so much for coming in. And again, as you've seen with previous recordings, we're trying to capture some of the history of the club. I should say we were hoping to have Nell with us today, but unfortunately wasn't able to make today, so that's we get her again. I should also say that really part of the reason that this is happening at all, Pat, is I see the work you do in terms of, over the recent Christmases, of bringing members of long-standing up for Christmas lunch. And that is such a fantastic thing. Yeah. And it just struck me that in that room, there are so many stories.
That's right.
And, you know, let's try not to lose them, shall we say.
Absolutely.
But I would just say thank you, and it's a super job. And it's growing and growing.
Well, it was a simple idea to start off because some particular, a long time ago, when we had the choir, we'll talk about the choir again.
Yeah.
So when the choir stopped meeting, I thought it would be a nice idea that we would all try to meet again and have a dinner. And I organised it, and Nell and myself organised it. And it was such a success. We said we just have to repeat that again and again. So it kind of went by the wayside.
Because that's quite a while ago. I mean, the choir stopped around 86, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah. So anyway, around Christmas, like I was conscious of the fact that we had an awful lot of friends of my own age and younger who were there at the golf club and wouldn't have had the opportunity of getting together for any kind of a social event.
Yeah.
So I organised a dinner about 3 years ago, I think, or maybe 4, and we've been doing it ever since, and it is far be it from me to say it, but it's so successful.
It's gorgeous.
Because if you were present on the day of the dinner, the atmosphere in the room is absolute magic. Absolute magic.
Yeah.
And if the other thing I always remark upon is the extent to which the people dress up, and that's just the men. No, but the ladies, they really push the boat out.
Yeah.
And they turn up in their finery, and immediately they start gathering in. You can sense the atmosphere is building. And we just have a lovely lunch provided by the club, and we pay for it.
Yeah.
And we're there for maybe 2 or 3 hours, and then people kind of naturally drift away. But it's a nice idea.
I mean, it's fantastic because if you're not playing golf, there isn't that natural thing to come in and meet people afterwards, so you lose touch, and we all know how important it is that people stay in touch and stay talking to each other. Yeah. Thank you for that, Pat. Before we came in, we had the opportunity, I found a tape, Derek, that you actually had organised back in 1995. We got it digitised, and it's now on view for the first time since 1995.
I thought it was lost forever.
Yeah. Anyway, so it was interesting.
I was delighted.
So it was a night that you were both heavily involved in. Derek, you particularly perhaps. And it was the commemoration of the original meeting of the golf club in 1895. And it was part of the centenary celebrations. I know Pat Roy would have been heavily involved in that as well.
Yeah, Pat was the captain at the time, and he wanted something to happen that year. But Pat is a great delegator, and he delegated to
That's important. Yeah.
Pat O'Connell.
Okay.
And Pat, in turn, delegated to me.
Right, okay.
Why he picked me, I think, was only because I was a friend of his, and he wanted somebody to take the blame.
And he obviously knew you'd actually do it and wouldn't find somebody else to delegate it to.
Probably.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's how I came to get involved in it all, knowing nothing about putting on something like this.
Yeah.
But Pat was of great help. He had a lot of stuff picked up. And he had some record, a small record of the first meeting and who was at the meeting.
Yes.
But of course, the problem was, that's fine, but you can't build a show.
It's cold. On
a couple of words.
Yeah.
So I had to sit down and think, who do I know, first of all, who could write a script for me?
Yeah.
And I rang a friend of mine in Skerries and said, look, he was in the theatre business. And he said, I know a lady who would do it for you.
Okay.
Maybe you come and meet her. So I went up to Skerries and met this lady, and her name is Carmel Coyle. Yeah. I hope Carmel's still with us. I'm not quite sure if she is or not. But anyway, Carmel said 2, and she wrote the script for the whole show.
Because it's actually so clever.
And
the whole thing rhyming.
She put the whole thing together from that point of view. The next thing, of course, was trying to find the cast.
Okay.
And of course, I then had to start saying, who can I get with certain accents?
Or who could disguise the accents? Yeah.
So then I set about finding the cast.
Yeah.
And was directed by, obviously, other members of the club who said, that person would be ideal for that part.
Yeah. Anybody but me.
Absolutely. Stay off.
Yeah.
And of course, that's how I put together the cast.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I needed somebody to actually stand up and narrate the thing going through, not just announce it, what's going to happen.
MC.
And I said, I think I know such an individual that's handy with a guitar and they'll sing song. And he's used to being up in front of people. Our friend Pat here. Yeah, so Pat stood up.
Good choice.
And he did that on the night. And I have to say, it went down terribly, terribly well. The problem, of course, was you have to put something together.
Yeah.
And, for example, where are we going to get the costumes for the actors?
Yeah, because they were spectacular. Actually,
they were very good. Very
good.
And all the actors who I have the list of them here, and thank God you had a copy of it, Matt. Other than that, I would have lost it. But at the end of the day, I went to the Gays Theatre.
Okay.
To the wardrobe mistress there, explained what I wanted to do.
You didn't know who she was.
Haven't a clue.
She didn't know who you were from Adam.
No, walked in off the street.
Okay.
Just rang her up.
Yeah.
You know, would you be there?
Maybe that's why Pat O'Connell suggested you might do this now, if you think
Hard
about
neck.
it. Yeah.
Anyway, went in and saw this lady and explained what we were doing here in Greystones.
Yeah.
And she said, tell me how many costumes you want. And so I said, I don't know at this stage, but I certainly know one lady. And, explaining who that might be at this stage. And I gave her the list of what I wanted, and she arranged for me, and I went in and picked all the wardrobe, all the costumes up from her for free.
And
never cost a penny. She loaned them to me.
And a lot of the people in the audience on the evening,
they
were all dressed up.
They got their
that
own.
Was themselves.
They looked after themselves.
Okay.
They looked after themselves.
Okay.
But I mean, your man who was dapper on the night, that was from the Gay Theatre. You know?
Yeah.
But
you looked fairly smashing in your long coat too now.
I didn't recognise myself. I had black hair in those days. And youth. But no, it worked out super from that point of view. And then, of course, we had to go about building a stage and getting props.
Yeah. Where did you get the props?
Well, where I got the props was very simple. Willie Heron...
Didn't turn out simple in the end, but anyway, go on.
Willie Heron, who was captain and indeed our president past. In fact, Willie was the one who was vice captain at the time when I joined.
Okay.
I got straight in with Willie and Cecil Turner secondary. Okay. So I was straight in way back in the early 70s. Yeah. And anyway, Willie said, hey, Derek, if you're ever looking for anything to do with antiques, there's 2 lovely ladies in the golf club. And I said to him, who are you? He said, Bet O'Riordan and Nell O'Riordan. He said, they're very helpful.
It's sort of a random piece of advice to give you when you're joining the club. But anyway, we'll move on.
Yeah, but, anyway, I said, right, okay, I'll make a call. And I remember contacting Bet Nell was the antique shop in Greystones.
Great name. Yeah.
One of his values is he's able to ferret information from people, which is spot on.
Yeah.
That's part of your...
Yeah. Anyway, I succeeded in getting some props from Betnell on loan. And we gave them credit in the back of the thing on the day. Don't think they ever saw it, but anyway. So that was my contact with Bet with Nell at that stage. And I didn't know Nell. And just so happens that since all those days and water's gone over the bridge, I'm now married to Nell.
Isn't that fantastic? What a story.
For both of us ended up widow and widower, and it worked out grand. And,
lovely story.
But anyway, that's
so,
and Bet was very much, and Nell was very much involved with Pat in the choir.
So, but having so if this had not happened, who knows?
Who knows? You never know what's going to come out of small beginnings.
Fantastic.
That's the value of this get together. I mean, you're telling me stuff now that I never knew the detail of.
Right.
Up until now, like you're telling me. And maybe I should have
Caramel Coil.
Caramel Coil, and I didn't know about that. And I didn't know the extent of your involvement in it.
Yeah. No, the whole thing had to be put on by somebody. And, I got Dickers of Bray to do the electrics, microphone and all that stuff. And then I can't remember the chap who did the video.
Tony Vine. 159. It might be like video productions.
And, I had my own kids in the background running around, just stuff like that. You know, the only piece I was disappointed in looking at the video today was the muslin which the ghost was standing behind.
Right.
You couldn't see the ghost even with the muslin. But anyway.
And then the lighting.
It's just not like anything. It all had to come together in some shape or form.
And who directed it? Was it
myself?
You directed it?
I produced it and directed it.
See?
Okay.
So don't ask me what that means.
Sorry, because I assumed that the woman who wrote the... Okay.
No, she, on the night we invited Carmel down and she came down and we gave her a bouquet of flowers and said thank you. The whole crowd did,
That's brilliant.
But she did it with heart and a half, delighted to do it, in actual fact.
My God, that's fantastic.
You know, when you look at it now, it's very good to look back, you know. But I mean, in those days, the names, I'm looking at them here, God between us and all harm, most of them are gone. Jimmy Clark, Morris Devitt, Guy Edwards, Bill Houghton, Frank Hayes, Dennis Latimer, Frank Luby is still in the club here.
Very much so.
Eamon Norris.
Very much so.
Pat O'Neill still here.
Yeah.
Tom Ryan, Ernest Smith, God be good to him, and Terry Tate.
Now, how good was Terry Tate?
She was
as Lady Burnaby.
Brilliant.
Now, to be fair, it's a great character to get to play, but she did it so well.
She did it well.
She just had the room in the palm of her hand. Yeah, yourself and Nell were key instruments within the Greystones Choral Society. So we had Joe O'Rourke, I think was the gentleman who managed it and created the whole thing. How did that come about, Pat?
Well, it came about because of, and in all of these events, you have to have a hero, okay? Right. He was the hero in this one.
Yeah.
And Joe O'Rourke was the hero in the other one.
Okay.
A man who was so enthusiastic about choral music that he devised the idea himself, got people together. But the first events were simply singing carols in the club, I think going back as far as 1979. And the thing kind of developed from there, again with Joe's encouragement, because...
Joe was a musician, he was a pianist, was he?
Well, yes, he was, but he was an accountant.
Right.
But with a huge love of choral music.
Okay.
And with the enthusiasm to get the thing going and to encourage people to come in and all the rest of it. And we ended up with a choir of 40 people.
My God.
All of members of the golf club.
I saw a photograph in the centenary book, which we can cut up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a very impressive group of people, yeah.
Fantastic. And the other thing I remember about Joe was that, like, I have a tenor voice, so Joe used to get whoever the tenors were in the choir, get them down to his house, rehearse pieces for the choir so that you were ready for it. And he did that with each of the basses and the altos and all the rest of it. Like Joe was, like, you have to have somebody like that who's going to push it.
Yeah, 100%.
So anyway, the choir was formed. We all, I can remember we had blazers, an outfit.
Yeah.
The ladies had their outfit, and I think we were fairly well presented.
You looked always terribly well on the stage.
And then I think it was Joe again, who, with his contacts with choirs in different parts of the world, but only as far as Wales.
That's a small budgets, Pat.
Yes, I know, yes. So we're flying on a wing, really. Joe made contact with a couple of golf clubs in Wales.
Yeah.
I mean, going to Wales singing choral music is like going into the lion's den.
Yeah, sure.
But anyway, Joe had enough faith and in us that we prepared for these events, and we visited Wales, I think, on 3 different occasions to different golf clubs, and they were fantastic social events as well as everything else.
Yeah.
But we were able to hold our own with the choirs.
Yeah. In the Premiership, in effect. Yeah. I did hear some stories about some of those trips.
Probably not better enough for people.
Well,
what goes on tour
stays on tour.
There was a mention of maybe everybody reverting to their juvenile years, perhaps. and people messing on the bus and fellas dressing up, and so good crack though, yeah.
There was one incident I can remember. It always sticks in my mind. Paddy Malone, who was a mainstay of anything musical. If you wanted somebody to sing a song, Paddy Malone could rattle off maybe 40 songs, no problem. So he was a member of the choir. Yeah. But we went to one golf club, and I can't remember where it was, but we had arrived at the golf club. We had all disembarked from the bus, and meeting people for the first time. And Paddy Malone was standing at the front of the bus, and he was almost doubled in two with laughter. So I went over and I said, Paddy, what's up?
What am I missing? Yeah.
He said, I was talking to the director of the choir from the club we were visiting. He said, and he's stone deaf. Paddy got the greatest kick out of that. Yeah. So that was only one of hundreds of incidents that happened. But the choir was a lovely grouping of people in the club, and we all got great fun from it.
So another anecdote that came up, Pat, over the last couple of days about yourself related to a summer trip you used to take occasionally to Woodenbridge.
Oh, right.
Last of the summer wine, it was described as. Don't know if everybody will remember that.
I will never forget those trips to Woodenbridge. There was Paddy Malone that I mentioned earlier, Seamus McRedmond, Alan O'Sullivan, and myself.
Yeah.
And this was planned like a military operation. I can remember. Paddy he had the two W's, which was the wheels and the wine. Okay. So we had to bring a couple of cars, obviously.
Yeah.
Alan O'Sullivan used to bring cooked chickens.
Okay.
And he had a very novel way of retaining their heat, in that he used to put the chickens in under the bonnet of the cars. McRedmond must have, Seamus brought the whiskey, because we used to have Irish coffees up in the woods above Woodenbridge afterwards. And I can't remember what my role was, but it was, as usual, insignificant.
Yeah. Too modest.
So anyway, head off, and the venue was Woodenbridge, because at that time it was a 9-hole course. Yeah. And it's like, to all of us, it was like a little bit of heaven.
Yeah.
Which I think it
still is.
A bit of heaven.
Gorgeous place.
And they were very welcoming down there, because we had experience of that. That I think we used to go down to Woodenbridge on previous occasions, playing golf as well. But for the four of us going down anyway, was a very special event. We really look forward to it. Yeah. And it never failed we were like kids down at Woodenbridge. But one of the incidents that I can remember was that Paddy Malone brought the wine. So he brought white wine, a couple of bottles of white wine, and while we were playing golf, in order to keep the wine cooled, it is a lovely little river running down through Woodenbridge. He just laid the bottles of wine into the river so that the water would keep it cool.
Meanwhile, the chickens were being kept warm.
Exactly.
Residual heat of the engine.
I told you it was a military operation.
Okay. No messing here.
Right. So, but anyway, the upshot of that particular element of the operation was that. So we'd play 9 holes of golf. We would then have our lunch. We'd play another 9. No, we played 18 holes. Then have our lunch. Have another 18 holes, and then we would get into the woods. There were wooden seating up in the woods above Woodenbridge.
Yeah.
I mean, an absolute magical place.
Yeah.
And all we had to do then was to produce the chickens, produce the wine, produce the whiskey for the Irish coffees. Maybe I brought the coffee, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, panic stations on one of the events because nobody could remember where the 2 bottles of wine were in the river. And there was a frantic search on for that.
That's how you look great there, the 4 of you up and down the side of the bank.
Why we weren't arrested, I don't know, because we had no golf clubs, so we were up and down the river, looking into the river. It was like we were poaching salmon or something. But anyway, we eventually found the wine. But the dinner up in the woods above, on one of those, those wooden benches and wooden seats as well. I mean, I have a photograph at home of us up there, and you can see by the looks on our faces that
it's been a long day.
We were like children, honest to God, I swear to God. And so I polished off the chickens or whatever else came with it. Polished off the wine, and then I think it was Mac Redmond who then produced the whiskey, and we had a Primus stove to heat the water on the Primus stove and make the Irish coffees. So anyway, that was one reason. We did it for I don't know how many years, but it like we were really like children. It was such a magical day out, and because of the magical golf course that it was and the company that we had and all the rest. So that was great.
So Jerry, yourself and Pat joined the same year as it happened, 1972. Would you how you joined as a 6 day at the time?
I came straight in.
Straight in.
Willie Heron, you see, was vice captain.
Okay.
That year.
Okay.
And Cecil Turner was on committees and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we were colleagues in work as well.
And they obviously knew that you would come in useful in years to come.
I think I'd been interviewed in the job.
Okay.
So anyway, that's how I came straight in.
Okay, very good. Yeah. So very different place and very...
Oh, totally different. I mean, you've heard from other people.
Yeah.
I think the course has been relayed twice in that period.
So that would have been... So in 72, would that have been the original iteration of the 18 hole course?
Yes, it was.
Yes, okay.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
There was always one. I always try to remember, as the courses developed over the periods, what hole was what. We all remember the Bell Hole.
Yeah.
It was a famous hole for many reasons.
Absolutely, yeah.
One, I probably shouldn't say this.
I think you should, absolutely.
But I remember
Whatever
playing
it is.
I remember playing it one day, and this fellow was delighted with himself. The walkthrough as we know it today, it's fenced off. But in those days, it wasn't fenced off, and the people, it's right away. People go by and all the rest of it. But one fellow, anyway, he came down to, can't find the ball. He went over, the ball was in the hole, and he picked up the ball and kissed it.
Right.
I don't want to tell you what was on the ball.
Oh, no.
Anyway, but that's the kind of open club it was at the same time, And then there's another hole, which you probably remember, Pat, Campbell's.
Yes, indeed.
And the legend it had to be. This Campbell was, I can't remember his first name.
Campbell.
He was
the BBC.
He was Lord
Glenavy.
Lord Glenavy.
That's who. But they say he drove it. There's absolutely no way in the wide earthly hell.
I have heard that story.
But it's been said he drove it.
Yeah.
The best I ever did was got the base of it. Get long up the hill.
We're only mere mortals.
I know. Yeah.
Like John Kinsella had told me that legend is correct. That he actually drove.
Yeah, I don't know.
The 13th.
Yeah.
So you obviously remember this being developed.
This as a house, and it was developed. O'D architect, Michael O'D was the architect.
Okay.
Now, he wasn't the architect. He had his who had architects on it, and there was a lot of messing went on as well.
Okay.
About preservation. There was no preservation building on it whatsoever.
And did they have to keep the fenestration, or
that was basically it was the facade?
Okay.
That was what they were after. But the rest of it you could do.
And we're in the
billiard room.
So, were there wings on the house or what?
No.
Already no. So these were newly added. So it was just the main body of the house.
These were here.
These were here.
Yeah, these were here.
Okay.
These were here at the time.
I thought they were added on. Sorry, I misunderstood.
Last time I noticed they were here at the time.
I can remember about the house that before the clubhouse was built, and in the old building, Seamus Finnerty, I hope I'm not wrong on this one, but Seamus Finnerty was captain, and the captain's dinner was held in the old building. Do you remember that?
I do.
So I hope I'm right in this time, but certainly I can remember the dinner being held in the old building, before this was ever built.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the word was that we were hoping that people wouldn't fall through the floors, because
it was getting that stage.
It probably was quite dangerous to do what was done. But anyway, it was done, and that was fine.
It had to be done. Something had to happen.
Okay.
No doubt about the old clubhouse was beautiful building to look at. Very nice from a social to visit somebody in there, or go in after a game of golf, whatever the case may be. But even the changing rooms were.
Was there no discussion, or was it about sort of rebuilding there, or was it just the fact that this house was here? Because I mean, £1 million was a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Was there any discussion about it? Sorry, I'm looking up at the wall here behind you, because there's the picture of the old pavilion here, which is like stunning. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Yeah. Was there any discussion about maybe rebuilding down there, or what was the driver, do you think?
Well, I mean, I'm looking at a thing that I have here in front of me, a folder, and I have a lot of stuff. Some of it relating to what you were talking about. I just can't remember the detail.
Yeah, okay. I'm just interested. Yeah.
No, but I do remember the night of the vote to buy this place. I mean, you couldn't put the people into the old clubhouse. I was standing outside. The windows were open. You were trying to hear the meeting. I mean, it was well attended.
So this was bought well in advance of anything happening?
Well, the consideration was on at that stage.
Okay.
It was on.
To move here?
Yeah. Oh,
before
absolutely.
any fire?
Yeah.
Okay. We won't go any further than that now.
Yeah, there was a consideration.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. Okay.
But the full detail, I don't have it.
Okay.
No, don't you?
You asked... what's your name?
I'm Derek. You're Pat, by the way.
These lads, we got here just in time.
I think today is I've forgotten.
A little bit of editing there.
Take it out.
You asked Derek about, did he come in as a full member?
Yeah.
And like he had a pull that those of us who were, young fellas from down the country, we didn't have that kind of pull. So I came in as Seamus Finnerty was my proposer.
Yeah.
And the reason that I knew Seamus was I was a member of Ballybunion at that time.
Okay.
And Seamus was with the ESB and he worked in Tarbert. Okay. So I knew Seamus in Ballybunion.
Okay.
And so he said to me, if you ever want to become a member of a club, he said, I'm in Greystones, give me... Anyway, to cut a long story short, Seamus proposed me.
So you were living...
I was living here then.
Okay.
Yeah. We had been living in Raheny, but came over here and we lived here. Came here in the same year I joined the golf club, 1972. And but the procedure was I had to come in as a 5-day.
Yeah.
I had then progressed to a 6-day, and then I had to progress to a 7. But in my case, and I don't know how it came about, maybe it was easier said than done in later years, but I did that process quite quickly. Okay. But I can remember one of the things that I had to do was, and Seamus arranged it for me, so I had to go out and play a round of golf with an established member who would be seen as let's say a stalwart in the club.
Right.
And I'll never forget the guy I played with. His name was Alan Buttonshaw.
Obviously very local.
One of the lads,
One of the lads,
One of the lads that do fine.
Yeah.
Quite a good, and obviously I must have behaved myself because I had to play the round of golf with him. That was part of the ceremony, if you like.
Okay.
Now, I'm not sure whether everybody had to do that. Maybe I was regarded as some kind of a blow-in or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, I did that. I didn't mind doing it.
It's a Limerick thing, is it?
And he was a very nice fellow, Alan Buttonshaw.
And you speak the way you're speaking today, or had you got a country accent?
No, I'm talking about Alan Buttonshaw.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
The way he spoke.
Oh, no, I can understand that.
He wasn't.
I thought you were back into the into character from the video we saw earlier.
Hello, yes.
Yes.
So I mean, that was my start in the club, and I've been a member since that time, and I've loved every minute of it.
Yeah.
And look, it was a totally different club then. You would know as to what it is now.
Yeah.
Totally different.
But that's inevitable, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You see, the laws changed too with drinking and driving and everything. I mean, the socials were fantastic here in this club. They really were.
Yeah.
And then, people couldn't come and drink and drive.
Yeah.
We've a lot of over the hill members, as you know.
Sure.
So that was a big hit to it,
Yeah. It probably very positive in other aspects.
Yes, not disagree. I'm not saying I disagree with that concept, but when you look and examine.
100%. Gentlemen, thank you so much, Derek.
Pleasure, Michael, and keep up the good work, and I hope you get more. I really do.
And it's been very informative, and we keep going.